Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's class. I need to address these people that normally come in and drop attendance. Are we using attendance to share money? That's why you don't do well in your test and you come back to blame somebody for not releasing your results. Simple instruction you will not follow, right? The last test, I remember adding that updates will be provided on this platform as the test progresses. Some of you said that somebody having to say that I don't know why they extend the test when they said it will last for 5 minutes. Did I mention that the test ends at 3:05 p.m. to anybody? You guys need to read and understand. This is university, not where you are coming from, where they do everything for you. You are going to be responsible for yourself here. How you do things, how you interpret questions. Nobody will come and write ABC on the board for you here. And if you have been using agents to write your tests, like we have that information that some of you pay people to write your 5 minutes test for you. Shame on all of you that do that. You bring them to DLI on April 22 or 20, yeah, if I'm not wrong, to come and write your BIO101 for you. They will come with your dockets. They will come and write your exam for you. I don't know what's wrong with you people. Don't drop attendance. You are dropping attendance. The only time that you will come for class, as if you even read or understand what we do in here. Can't you follow instruction? I pity your generation. Oh. Ha, to flaka. Don't drop attendance. Okay, maybe today I will even pull the attendance and send it to you so that you will see that we know how we get our attendance. It's not by your dropping message to flog this place. Are we even giving people that come for class attendance? All this attendance is for your own sake. If you like, come. If you like, don't come. Now me pay over 200,000 naira for your school fees. If you like, don't come for class. We're not sharing money to people that come for class. It's in your own interest. That's why we're enforcing the attendance. If you feel it doesn't stop my salary, it's for your own good. So don't think it's the attendance I will take to salary and wages that they will use to pay my salary. No, it's in your own interest. And we are saying we know how we get our attendance and you are still disturbing us with it. Can't you follow simple instruction? Don't know what's wrong with you people. I don't want to see anybody in my office when school resumes. So don't come to my office for anything because people, you don't pay attention, you don't read, you don't understand, you don't pay attention to details. If you come to my office, the little mark that you have got, you will lose it. And if you have not gotten any mark before, you will not get anything. There is no way you will submit your test and you will not see your results. I'm still saying it. So even as I thought you are writing letter, know what you are writing in your letter. Don't waste my time reading your jargons that you are writing because you not even get any response anyway. There's no way that you will submit your test and you will see that your response has been submitted. When you submit, then your result will not be out. Some of you are seeing different things. You are having network issues and you are telling me that you did the test. You cannot find your score. Did I hit your score? Did I use it to exchange for long life and prosperity? I don't know what's wrong with you people. Please, if you not see your test, your results, it means you didn't submit successfully. It's possible that you click submit. I've been seeing different things in my DM. Somebody said that you submitted. The system said that the network cannot be reached. If the network cannot be reached, it's different. Your response has been submitted. Then some of you got that this test as the form has stopped the accepting responses. The test has either closed or not, or has either ended or has not started, something like that. You are still claiming to see results. When you try to submit when the portal, when the link has closed accepting responses, please, when you click submission, if you not receive your response has been submitted, you cannot have results. And don't come to my office or write any letter to that effect. Please, in fact, there is no letter. There is no letter because your results are out. It's not that your letter that will make me to bring out your result where I hid it. Did I hide your result? No. So please, you guys should learn. You are now in university, although you are still in your house, but you are now in the university. You need to be responsible for yourself. Nobody will look after you. Nobody will check whether you have written your notes, whether you are reading or not. Don't read it now. Maybe when you see FCC grades, when you write your first semester exam, your body will calm down. So please, know what you are doing. Follow instruction. Ability to read and understand instruction is part of examination here. Don't just rush to pick answer. Don't just rush to do things. Okay, I know you don't know nothing. You don't know shit. All the answers will appear to you as correct. You need to read and calm down and pick your correct answer. You can tell them it's not enough. Okay, now we will give you the whole day to write tests that you are paying people to write for you, so that one person can be writing for 100 people. So please know what you are doing. Let's be guided though. If people are getting me angry, don't see the other side of Dr. Fakorede, I'm telling you. All right, or Mr. Fakorede, whatever. Good morning, everybody. If you can hear me, and if you can hear me, good for you. Atoli Bodo. Okay, let's start recording. Am I recording? Oh, is record? Okay, I'm recording already. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good morning once again. Last time we started the last lap of this lecture series, which is a classification and evolution of living things, and we have dealt with one aspect of what we aim to cover for under this topic, which is a classification. Then we're still going to binomial nomenclature, which is what we are doing today. Then we look at evolution processes and what have you. So last time we looked at a classification. We defined classification as the science or the act of placing organisms into groups, or the act of grouping organisms according to shared properties or evolutionary history for the purpose of identification. So that is why we classify, and we use the analogy of a supermarket, that when you visit a supermarket, you don't just, you're not looking for what you need aimlessly. There are different sections that you're supposed to go to pick whatever you need, right? So classification helps us to group organisms according to shared properties, according to what they have in common, according to evolutionary pattern, right? So then we say we have different types, the two types rather, what's it called now? The artificial, that is based on convenience purpose, convenience sake. We have the natural classification models or type that deals with you having, that goes beyond what you can see. You're now looking at the physiology, the genetic, the anatomy, and what have you, to classify those organisms. Then we looked at the history of classification, the early model proposed by Aristotle, and the modern model proposed by Carolus or Carl Linnaeus. And we said that guy, Carl Linnaeus, is the father of taxonomy, which is the field of biology that deals with classification of organisms. And then we said he used the hierarchical classification model, and by having, he proposed 7 levels. And we said that each of these level is known as a category, right? And the named level, for instance, if you have class Mammalia, class is the category, Mammalia is the taxon. We use that to distinguish between category and a taxa or taxon, singular, taxa plural. And we said the seven, what's it called? The 7 levels of classification proposed by Charles Darwin: the class, the family, the kingdom, phylum, class, family, order, genus, species. We said the species is the unit of classification that is unique, is the unique property. It is unique to each individual, right? And we said as we move down the group, the complexity, the number of organisms, and what you have decreases from kingdom to phylum. Then we said we have this guy, Carl Woese, in 1990 or thereabouts, if I'm not wrong, that proposed that there should be a domain above kingdom. So Carl Woese introduced a domain to that hierarchy earlier proposed by Carolus Linnaeus. And and we said
Carwos's research experiment was based on rRNA, that is ribosomal RNA, rRNA. Okay, today, let's just go straight to the business of the day, which is a binomial nomenclature. This is all we have done last time. Okay, binomial nomenclature. Okay, so what is nomenclature? Nomenclature simply means naming, right? Nomenclature is a system of naming, right? So, which simply means giving names to different things, right? And we can see this in the story of creation, right? When God created anything, he will bring it to Adam in the Garden of Eden to name, right? I don't know, maybe that is like that also in the Holy Quran, right? So naming starts from there. That is where naming starts from. And later, the scientists now begin to see. So nomenclature simply means naming, grouping, naming organisms for identification. So when you hear nomenclature, it's all about naming. So now, when we name, we can name. There are two types of names, right? We have vernacular, that is common name, what we call anything, maybe in your local dialect now, to make it easy for you, right? So every region, every population have names for different things, right? For instance, what we call cassava in my language, right, might be different from what you call cassava in your bush where you come from, right? So that is the vernacular name, right? And what we call a cassava in Nigeria is different from what they will call it in Kenya or Congo or Argentina, right? So that is the vernacular name. That is the common name that we realize this with. Even cassava in Igbo is different from cassava. The name given to cassava in Igbo is different from what the name in Yoruba, in Hausa, right? So we also have scientific names, right? Scientific names is the generally acceptable, globally acceptable names of living things. So the vernacular names are based on peculiarity of the organisms and work. Then scientific names are distinct and specific. They have particular spellings which cannot be changed. So the scientific name, like I said earlier, is what is known globally. For instance, if I say Oryza sativa, right, to everybody, Oryza sativa is Oryza sativa. It now depends on what you call Oryza sativa in your language. But if you attend a conference and somebody says that my research is based on Oryza sativa, you will know what they are referring to as Oryza sativa in your own language or dialect. So that is scientific names for you. Scientific names are common, right, in all population. It doesn't change. You cannot even alter the spelling. That is why in botany, when you are asked, or you are Greek, in secondary school are Greek, or in botany here, when you write scientific names, or not even in botany, anywhere, if you are writing an exam, pen on paper, I mean, that is not MCQ now, you are asked to write scientific names. If one spelling is wrong, if one letter is wrong, then you cannot get the mark for that. For instance, if you are spelling Escherichia coli, and you go and write whatever, maybe you will meet one I in the Escherichia. That is not what we ask you. That is another, that might even be the name of another organism entirely, right? So please, it is in my chat room that people are calling yourself goats, right? That is my chat room. Somebody said you are a goat. Okay. Oh. So that is scientific names for you. It doesn't change. So we have types of nomenclature. What are the naming organisms? How do we name organisms? How do we name them? That is what we mean by types. So we have polynomial nomenclature. Here, names of any plants or organisms consist of many words, as the name implies, polynomial, right? Giving many, using many words to define or to name an organism. For example, that's word in italics, or those words in italics: Caryophyllum saxatilis foliis gramineus umbulatus corymbia. This means caryophyllum growing on rocks,
having grass-like leaves and umbellate cordon flowers. That is one species that has these long names. That is polynomial. Now, this is complex. You cannot compare this with just binomial and just having two names like we have in scientific names. So that is polynomial for you. That is names of organisms having many words. Then we have a trinomial nomenclature. Trinomial nomenclature was proposed by Huxley and Strickland. You may want to look for their full name, right? So this guy said that any plant or species is supposed to have three names. And that is tri, as the name implies, three names. So we have Brassica odoraceae variety botrytis, that is cauliflower. Then you have the capitator cabbage, and you have Gongelodes, kohlrabi. All these are cabbage, right? Different variety of cabbage, as proposed by Huxley. So Huxley goes further to look at, okay, among organisms, we can even have variety, right? So that is what trinomial is all about, giving three names to organisms that now go to this subspecies name. You had the subspecies name or the variety name. If you remember during our class on the classification on the levels, the hierarchical classification model, we said we can have subkingdom, subphylum, subclass, subspecies, suborder, subfamily, and what have you. So here in trinomial, we are adding the subspecies name to name of any organisms that we are naming, like Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay. Then we have the binomial nomenclature, which is what we are all familiar with, right? Which is what we are all familiar with. So this model gives two names to organisms, binary name. Okay, so we have this system give two names to organisms in two words, and they are either in Greek or Latin, and each scientific name has two components: the generic name from the genus and the specific name, the species, right? So in the classification of human that we did last time, we said humans belong to the genus Homo and the species is sapiens. So we have Homo sapiens. Homo sapiens is the binomial nomenclature for human, or the scientific naming, right, for that organism. So, and this was propounded by Carolus Linus, and is regarded as the founder of the binomial nomenclature that is given to these people now, Daniela from Bush. Right, so we have Linus proposed scientific names of plants in his book Species Plantarum that was published in 1753. So we have, okay, the binomial nomenclature. So by using these models, organisms, it has its advantages. One, organisms are the same in all languages, right? Or in all language. I don't know if that S is supposed to be there, right? So organisms have the same names. For instance, if you say, like I said earlier, if you said, what's it called? Mangifera indica, for instance, which is mango. So Mangifera indica is the same in all languages. If I say Mangifera indica, everybody knows I'm referring to mango in English or mongoro in Yoruba, or whatever you call it, wherever you come from, whether from Mars or Pluto. So organisms have the same names. Then there is confusion in using different names is removed, right? For instance, if I go to, what's it called? If I go to Somalia and say I want to buy ege, in Yoruba, ege is cassava, right? Then they'll be confused as what is this one saying? Or even if I go, not even Somalia, if I go to Igbo land, for instance, if I go to Anambra and start saying that I want to buy ege to an Igbo man, right? Or Hausa, and be wondering what is ege, right? So there will be confusion. So but by binomial nomenclature, we said that we realize that that confusion is erased, right? Then if you go to a conference, you are expected to speak scientific names, right, of organisms, because there will be different people from in that conference that come from different parts of the world. So you cannot be using the common name to name your organism that you work with in your study. So you are using what everybody is conversant or familiar with. Then every organism has a first name and the last name, where the last name is written first. So what we are saying is that just like your name too, we have first name, middle name, and last name. And that is the order of writing names. For instance, my first name is Samson, my middle name is Taiwo, my last name is Fakorede. All right. So if here the last name Fakorede is coming first, like the way we write our name, they say surname first, right? So it is the last name that comes first in scientific naming. But your name should be Samson Taiwo Fakorede, Imole Ayo, Rebecca Fashino. All right. Okay. So here we are writing the last name first, and that is the genus. The genus comprises organisms of similar characteristics. Then you now begin to break them down to species. So the genus will come first, Homo, then before the species name, Sapiens. Then we have now, like we said earlier, the science consists of two names, the genus or the generic name, e.g., Manji. Who are these people having tutorial inside my chat room? I will kick all of you out too. Don't drop anything in the chat room. Don't drop anything in my chat room. I'm not ready to read the chats now. Go and do your tutorial in your class group. Okay, so we have the generic name, Mangifera, and the specific, the species name is also referred to as the specific epithet, so which is an indica. So here we are having Mangifera indica for mango, and that is how you write a scientific name. The generic name before the specific epithet. So the genus, we said that the scientific name has two major components, the generic name and the specific epithet. So the genus is usually a noun. It is capitalized and can serve to describe one of the following. Now, the genus, like we said, when you want to write the generic name, right? The generic name is just like your proper noun. Proper noun starts with what? Capital letter. Some of you write your name for me in text. You are writing your name with starting your name with a lowercase letter, small letter O, small letter P for Peter. I'm like, you will not pass through secondary school, ni. So please, when you are writing your name, especially your own name, you should write it correctly. You start your name with a capital letter, right? Your surname start with capital letter. You can now write others in small letter. So please, let us get used to doing things correctly. Okay, so we have the genus is usually a noun and it is capitalized and can serve to describe the following. So the genus can tell us many things, right? For instance, the genus can be to describe a plant's appearance. For instance, it's Emerocalis. Emerocalis are these, the plant is known as day lily, right? So it means it means day and beauty. So Emerocalis is telling us that that plant is radiant during the day, beautiful, right? So that is one of the purposes that the genus can, one of the things that the genus can tell us about a plant, so that the genus, the generic name, can tell us some things about the particular plant. Number one, maybe to describe the plant appearance. So you have Emerocalis, you have Emerocalis fulva, Fulva. So the generic name is telling us that that plant is beautiful and radiant. Then it can be to describe maybe the supposed medicinal quality of that particular plant. For instance, Pulmonera, right? Pulmonera is longworth and it's used to treat respiratory ailments, right? From your secondary school biology, when you're saying pulmonary and what have you talked about what's it called, respiration and well and all of that. So it can be so that long word is telling us that it's used to treat respiratory ailments. Then it can be used, it can be to describe resemblance to a body parts. The genus, the particular plant can be named because maybe they resemble a body part. For instance, your hepatica is resembling the liver. And when you from secondary school, when I see hepatitis, whatever, you know that we are referring to it has to do with the liver. Then it could be to honor a person by using their name. For instance, if you like me so much, and maybe you now discover a new species tomorrow, you can name it after me, right? Your biology teacher. So it could be to honor somebody. You can use it to honor yourself too. So we have to honor a person, we have these Vigna unguiculata, your cowpea. Your cowpea is Vigna unguiculata. The genus name Vigna there is named after this guy, Domenico Vigna, which was an Italian botanist and a former director of one botanical garden in one university in Pisa, Italy. Pisa, not pizza that you eat. Right? So that is what the genus, the generic name can tell us. Maybe to describe a plant's appearance, to reflect the resemblance to a body part, or to honor somebody. Then that is that for the generic name. Then the specific epithet is the second word in a scientific name that describes that particular species. So this one is more specific and it is unique to an organism. So the basis is the species of binomial nomenclature and it's the unit of classification. It is a unit of classification. It is not capitalized. So the first letter here is written in lowercase, and it is an adjective, which can be to describe the size, the color, the leaf shape, the growth habit, or origin of the plant, or to commemorate a person. Okay. So for instance, we have this specific epithet for these organisms. This is a Cotoneaster horizontalis. Here, it means that these plants, the leaves, they grow horizontally, right? Coreopsis gigantea, they have jerry giant flower. Erythrina senegalensis, this one is domiciled, is common in Senegal. Eugenia uniflora. Eugenia uniflora is named after a prince, Prince Eugene, right? That's the genus. Then the generic, the specific epithet uniflora means that it has only one flower. Chionanthus virginicus. This one is what is it called? Is common in Virginia, USA. So that is what the specific epithet can tell us. Horizontalis, or that is the plant grows horizontally. Gigantea, a giant flower. Senegalensis, it is common in Senegal. Uniflora and Virginicus. There is this bird that is let me check whether I can get the name. Is Ibadanensis, is a bird that is common in Ibadan, Nigeria. So that plant was named. Okay, let me give you as an assignment. Is Ibadanensis, maybe okay, is a species of bird. Just write Ibadanensis. I think it should be generic name. I can't remember the generic name now, but the specific epithet is Ibadanensis. When you write Ibadan, just put ENSIS. Ibadanensis, small letter I, for instance, now, because it is a specific name. Ibadanensis. So this just tells us that organisms can be named. Organism can be named after a person as well. For instance, if you discover another species in the genus Coreopsis, for instance, you can name it after yourself. Yes, like Samson, I can name it Coreopsis samsonia, right? That is named after Samson. So you can name any organism after. There are procedures for naming organisms. So if you feel that you are working with some species, with some gene in a genus, in a particular genus, and you find a plant or an organism that has not been identified or described, right? So you can take it to the body that name organisms and say that, okay, this one has not been labeled, has not been named, and they will do their findings, and after some back and forth, thank you, Malimbos Ibadanensis here. After some back and forth, that organism can be named after you. So these are ways by which organisms get their names. So how do we write these scientific names correctly? Number one, like we said earlier, the first letter of the generic name should be in capital letter, and the first letter of the specific name should be in small letters. You have there Mangifera indica. Mangifera indica. The M of the please, it's not magnifera. You are not magnifying anything. It's Mangifera indica. Okay, so hem there is capital letter for Mangifera, which is the generic name, and the high of the indica, which is the species name, is in small letter. The two names are capitalized in print or underlined separately. When you are writing, if you are printing, if you are typing now, right, it's better, it is more acceptable that you write it in italics, right? Better than instead of underlining. But if you are writing it out with your hand, you cannot write in italics, right? Even if your handwriting is in italics, you still have to underline. So when you are typing, when you are using your system, right, to write names, it is preferred that you write it in italics. But when you are writing with your free hand, don't write in italics. Underline the two separately. That is, your Mangifera, you write it, you underline it. Indica, you write it, you underline it. The two words, don't join it to not a straight line. You are going to have two lines. One for Mangifera, then space, you break it, then for indica. Maybe I should have even written an example there. Sorry, should have done that. Right? Using Mangifera indica. Okay, am I sending this slide to you? Maybe I will update the slide and send it to you. I don't know. You have it here. The genus may be abbreviated to the first letter if it had been written in full at first. For instance, maybe you are writing literature review on Mangifera indica. If you have written Mangifera indica in the first time, subsequently in your write-up, you can now shorten that Mangifera to M, that is M.indica. You put a full stop after your Mangi. So you can abbreviate, you cannot abbreviate the species name. It is only a generic name that you can abbreviate. Mangifera indica, M.indica. Then the name is only complete if it is followed by the name of the scientist who first described or named it. That point is not complete. So we said the name is complete if it is described, if it's followed by the name of the scientist who first named or described the plant. The fourth bullet point should have that. Right? The name is only complete if it is followed by the name of the scientist who first named or described the plant. Let me locate this slide and correct this. Who first named or described the plants. I'm coming. Slide 49. Okay. Then we have a name of scientist who first described or name. Okay, I think I continued here. Okay, maybe I remove it from that place. I didn't remove it completely. So the name is complete when if it have the name of scientists or scientists who first describe or name the plant after the specific name, and it is not italicized. For instance, Mangifera indica Lin. Lin means Linus, and what that means is that Linus was the person or the scientist that gave that name to mango, right? So you don't write it in full. It's usually abbreviated, and it is not italicized. That is the name of the scientist now that we're talking about. The name of the scientist that named that organism is usually not written in full, and it is a what is it called? It is
not italicized, as you can see there. Then we have a Phyllanthus hamarus. Phyllanthus hamarus was described and named by those two gentle guys, Skum and Ton. And as an assignment for you, go and look for the full names of these guys. I said that Lane is Linus, right? What is the full name of Skum? What is the full name of a Ton? It's an abbreviation. That is why you're having that dot there. You can see that I highlight it in green. I did it for a purpose. So it's an assignment for you. Go and look for the names of those two gentle guys that's named Phyllanthus hamarus. Okay. Another point to consider as a rule is that if a scientist has proposed a wrong name initially, then his name should be written in brackets, and the scientist who corrected the name should be written after the bracket. For instance, Sugar canadensis. Linus was the one that gave that plant initially. Linus named it Pinus canadensis, but Salisbury now named it Sugar canadensis, although Linus named it Pinus canadensis. So that particular plant, right? Linus has first described it and named it, but the name was wrong. Salisbury now named it correctly. So that is why you are having two names here. You are having Linus and Salisbury. Now, you must note that Salisbury is written in full. It's not abbreviated. So please pay attention to those details, right? So we have why was the name wrong? Research don't end. Maybe as a result of it's possible that when you name something, you name it wrongly, and somebody now have superior arguments and say that this thing that you named is wrong, and you have convincing, you have figure, you have data to support your claim, right? So that is why, that is, what was it called? That is why it is wrong, and the name was corrected. This is science. It's not what was it called? It's not fixated. It can change. Something can change due to research, available research, right? Somebody said the heart is spherical, right? Maybe somebody can come tomorrow and say that the heart is not spherical. Then you now say that, why is it not spherical? I don't know. Right? So it is due to research, right? Because advances in research, it is possible that you name this thing mango today, then they now see that, okay, you know that the specific name also has meaning. Although it is in italics, they also have meaning. Maybe the genus that Linus, if you see these names, it is a genus that is different. Linus named it Pinus, that is in the genus Pinus. But Salisbury now come and say that, no, this organism does not fit in the genus that Linus has placed it. It is better placed under the genus Sugar. So that is why it is wrong. So maybe looking at the other organisms in that genus, Pinus, maybe this particular species, canadensis, this particular species, canadensis, does not fit into that genus. So Salisbury now said that, okay, this is better placed under the genus Sugar. So that is why we have it removed from the genus Pinus and placed under genus Sugar. Then by canadensis, it means that that organism is common in Canada by the specific epithets now. Okay, so I think that answers your question. So when somebody names an organism wrongly, you put the name in brackets, then the person that now describe it. Another person can come tomorrow and say it is not Sugar canadensis. Okay.
Then in plant nomenclature, toponyms are not valid. Generic name, that is, generic and specific names should not be the same. That is what is it called? Tautomers or tautonyms, right? When you have organisms having the same name. In plants, it is not allowed. And ICBN is the body that names the International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, which is a collection of rules guiding scientific naming of plants. Then we have the International Code of Zoological Nomenclature, which contains a set of rules guiding naming of animals. So in that code, plants cannot have similar names. The generic and the specific names cannot be the same. You cannot have mangifera. For plants, it is wrong. But for animals, it is allowed. For instance, your ratus, rats, it is possible for organisms to have a specific. Please, those of you that, what is wrong with these people now? They've even messed up my chat room. What are you? Please hold on. What is happening here now? What have you turned this chat room into? What is the emoji or whatever smiley that this person is using? What's wrong with these people now? Why are you? Please don't converse in my chat room. This is not your regular class WhatsApp group. Somebody, what type of people don't see me finish you. What's the worry now? Using one emoji in my chat room that I don't even know. Who are these people? Can language change the scientific names of plants and animals? Can language change the scientific name? What if I can language change? Which language want to change it? Okay, let me even visit people on YouTube so that I've not forgotten you. YouTube guys, good morning. How are you there? People that come to my Zoom this morning, be guided though. I think there should be a way to lock that chat room. I will find out. Good morning on YouTube. How are you? I hope everything is fine there. You can see the slides and you are following. If you have any concern, please drop it. I think I should see your comments. Okay. So let's go back. Please don't drop. Don't drop. Oh. I shouldn't be hearing this. Hmm. Okay. So we have that rule guiding naming of plants and animals. For plants, you cannot have tautomers. For animals, you can have it. That is, the specific and generic names can be the same for animals, but for plants, no. Okay, I think this will be the last lap. We have a plants category. Plant species can be divided into, more specifically, into different infraspecific categories, that is classifications below the species level. You can have cultivars, you can have variety, and you can have a hybrid. So what is a cultivar? Cultivar simply means is a contracted word for cultivated variety or horticultural variety. Right here, you are growing that particular plant for specific purpose, right? And this is done asexually. So maybe because of their growth habits, maybe for their flower, or maybe because they are fruitless. So these are cultivars. That is cultivated variety, a variety of a plant that you cultivate for a particular purpose. right? And that is why we refer to them as horticultural variety. And there are rules guiding the naming of the writing their names. Now we have this plant here, the Verbonum opulus, the Rosium. Now, when you are writing the variety name, the cultivar name is written either with a single quotes, right? As you can see there, the Rosium is putting in a single quotes. Then we have, you can also put CV Rosium. After that, the scientific name, Verbum opulus CV Rosium. The cultivar name is the Rosium. So somebody can ask you, in Verbulus opulus Rosium, what does Rosium mean? Rosium is the cultivar name in a single quote. If you don't put the CV can give out the option. If you have CV, you can easily guess it is a cultivar that CV stands for. Okay, we also have variety. Variety or wide botanical or wide variety are a group of plants intermediate between species and form and usually associated with genetical differences. Now, between species, we can have variety, right? Like for instance, your Saint leaf. We have different varieties of Saint leaf. There are some that have big leaves. There are some that have tiny leaves, right? Even without applying fertilizer. Okay, so we have such variety. And how do we write variety names? Variety names are written in lowercase, like your normal way of writing scientific names. Please look at this variety. Everything is italicized, but in cultivar, we don't italicize the cultivar names. Okay, so variety, we have Pinus contorta, variety contorta. We have Pinus contorta, variety latifolia. The first one here is short pine. The other one is a lodgepole pine. They are both pine in the genus Pinus, but they are different variety of pine, as you can see there. So you write them in lowercase, italicized or underlined, the same scientific rules. The rules guiding scientific names apply to variety names as well. Then we have hybrid. Hybrid are two related but distinct species. When you interbreed them, you have a hybrid. For instance, when you cross homozygotes, right, you have hybrid, but they are often sterile and produce no seeds or fruit. That is one feature of a hybrid, sterile and produce no seeds or fruit. So you have hybrid there. And how do you come about them? The writing their names, you write it in lowercase, underlined, or italicized. Then an X is inserted between the genus and the hybrid names. For instance, if you cross Platanus occidentalis and Platanus orientalis, what you will have is Platanus acerifolia. The X there is telling us that acerifolia is a hybrid of two species in the genus Plantanus. So that is how you write hybrid names. Platanus occidentalis crossed with Platanus orientalis will give you Platanus acerifolia. And you put an X between the genus and the specific epithet for these hybrid names. So for cultivar, you put CV before the cultivar names, or you put the cultivar name in single quotes, right? For variety, you put VAR dot, then you give the name. Then for hybrid names, you indicate it with X. When you cross two plants, then you are having a hybrid, and we said these hybrids are sterile and produce no fruit or seed. So you put X between the genus and the specific epithet for hybrid names. I think that is the end of the class for today. So we have ended the second aspects of the topic, classification and evolution of living things. On Friday, by God's grace, we will go to evolution, and maybe by Monday, we should be through so that you can have time to prepare for your test on Friday, by God's grace. I don't know, maybe latest Wednesday. That won't be class on Friday. I should be done by Monday, latest, or at most Wednesday. I will look okay, let me check. What do I have to cover under evolution? How many slides do I have? Please, you can ask your question. If you have any question, you can raise your hand and you can unmute. Okay, let me see whether you can unmute yourself. Munira Sani, please unmute and ask your question.
Good morning, sir.
Please, if you know that you have underground noise, please don't.
Good morning, sir.
Munira, good morning, ma. How are you?
Fine, sir. Sir,
We
under
don't
the under the plant category, you said we have cultivar, variety, and hybrid. Sir, if we're writing the cultivar name, we put CV. Are we to underline the CV?
If you're the cultivar name, no, you don't underline cultivar. You don't underline cultivar. Hello, you don't underline cultivar name, you don't italicize it. The only way you can write, you write it in plain text. No underline, no italics. That is for cultivar.
Sir, for the variety.
Wait, let me explain further. You either put CV dot, then you write the cultivar name, you don't underline, you don't italicize, or you put it in single quotes. But for the variety, you italicize everything. For the hybrid, you italicize everything.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, if anyone asks question, you can unmute yourself. I think I've granted that permission. You can unmute yourself. Let's see. We'll be done on Monday by God's grace. What of those with SPP? Mangifera SPP. Okay, SPP means a species, that is species in the genus Mangifera. It could be any species now. It's not specific, right? Like for instance, now if you look at that genus, the genus that we use as an illustration, Pinus, for instance, look at this Platanus occidentalis and Platanus orientalis. This is the same genus but different species. But when you see SPP, it means that they are referring to any species in the genus Mangifera or in the genus Plantanus. They are not specific. So that is why we use SPP, Plantanus species or Mangifera species. That is any species, the species in the genus Mangifera. I think that answered the person with a SPP. So with the abbreviated name M indica be underlined to yes now. If you abbreviate Mangifera, it is still scientific name. You either write it in italics, the M should also be in italics or underlined. Or followed by late comer, you are writing attendance. Even if you are given marks for attendance, you think I will give you mark for attendance. If you are giving name for attendance, we will not give you name now. Please don't drop your names. Okay, in the absence of any other question, thank you for. You said it is the units of hierarchy and it is the unique and it is unique. What about subspecies? These subs are not really recognized, right? In the if you classify and you don't put subspecies, nobody will crucify you for that, right? It is not in all cases, it is not even required that you go to the subspecies level. All right. So what we deal with is the species. Classification ends at the species level, and there are just 7. If you don't want to add domain, there are just 7 that are recognized. Nobody will ask you to go and be naming subspecies, right? What we expect you to know is the species level, and that is the unit of classification that is specific to all organisms. Differences between cultivar and variety. Are you asking me after giving a class? That is an assignment for you. Go and do it. Cultivar, cultivated variety. Then, sir. So we have a cultivated variety, and the cultivated variety they are planted for a particular purpose, right? But the variety, they exist naturally. They are not propagated, right? But the cultivars are propagated asexually. They are produced maybe for a particular purpose, maybe for a flower, like all these horticulture, right? That is what cultivars are. They are cultivated variety for a purpose, but the cultivars, the variety exists naturally. I think that is one major difference between cultivar and variety. Are all the plant categories asexually propagated? I don't understand what. Remember, I did this question. Are all the plant categories asexually propagated? Maybe you propagate all of them. It is not everything that you propagate. Like the hybrids, like what was it called? The varieties are not propagated. They are natural. They are natural this thing. Can come again on cultivar and variety, please. Go and listen to the video. Go and listen to the recording. I will share it with you, or go to YouTube. All right. Thank you, and do have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, sir.